we have discussed about the first thing is about the routing options, right? We have seen the different routing options that are available. So why is routing important? Why do we have to route a particular thing to somebody, right? Because it's obviously when we are dealing with assignments, when we are dealing with steps that involve human interactions, we need to tell who should be working on it. Okay, so it gives them a responsibility saying that you need to work on this particular functionality of my application. So when it comes to routing, I have different routing mechanisms, right? The first one about current user. So whoever would be initiating your case, they will always be the current user, right? First mechanism, without even knowing that we have been using the current user routing mechanism so far, right? That is why the candidate is able to submit his details. He is able to approve himself. He is able to provide his offer letter. All of that is possible, right? But ideally, that is not true. A candidate cannot approve his own candidature. Someone else has to do it. Someone else has to schedule the interview. Someone else has to look after his onboarding formalities, right? So that someone is nothing but who we are routing it to. The second option is about specific user. When you want one specific user to work on your application, you would route a specific user. Sometimes you have a group of people and anyone from that group can pick up the assignment. So that's called the work queue, right? And then the last one is about business logic. Sometimes my routing could be on a conditional basis. It cannot be fixed always. It could be on a conditional basis. Okay? So those conditions can be added as your business logic and you can set your own routing mechanism. Okay? So we have experimented these, like we have created quite a few new users. We have seen how the case is being routed to different people at different steps and stages. We have seen how each one of it is important to finish the transaction. And everyone on my case type acts, I cannot complete the transaction. Correct?
Yeah.
So this is all about routing. Then we spoke about data objects, right? We spoke about data modeling of your application. How you design your data model, right? Because for any application, data modeling is important. What kind of data are you going to handle? How are you going to design the DB? All of that is part of your data modeling. So we have seen different data elements on the Pega platform. So far, we have used single valued properties. Later, we have got something called as data types, which is for a group, or you can say a collection of properties. Rather than having each one of them individually, we call all of them together. We bundle them up together to call a data type. So I can create different data types in my application. It could be candidate, it could be employee, it could be student, customer, address, anything which involves multiple entities could be called as a data type. Okay. So we have also seen how data types can be used across case types. Okay. Then we have directly used this under the configure view to show a single instance. Yes. So candidate page property, a candidate list property, both are used. One is for showing a single instance of candidate data. One is for showing a list type of candidate data. So it's easy for me to reuse this. If there's one more case type called resignation, if I need to design it tomorrow, I can just simply go with the candidate page property and page list properties like this or fields like this, and I can quickly, reuse the existing ones to define the data model of the resignation case type. Right? So rather than having single valued properties for each and every case type, we tend to bundle them up together to call it a data type. Right. And we have also seen the different modes of the data, like value mode, page mode. Within value mode, you have got single value, value list, value group. Right? Able to recollect that?
Yeah, single value group.
Correct. Value list.
Yeah, value list. And there's something called as page, isn't it? Which is in both.
Exactly. So there's page group, and page list.
Yeah.
So these are the ones we regularly tend to use. But value group and value list are more often used from the Dev Studio only. So we wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't be having anything like value list and.
This is like good to know things, isn't it? This will not be like for the certification. It will not.
Correct. Right. Yes. So then we have also spoke about something called, right? So we have seen a clipboard.
Yeah, clipboard. Yeah.
Clipboard. So we have seen like 4 categories of pages: user pages, system pages, data pages, linked property pages. So the data across a clipboard is in 2 forms: the name, value, pair. You will have the name of the property and you will have the value that is assigned to it. So you can see whenever you process your case, you can see the data is reflected on the clipboard and the value is also true. You change anything on the clipboard, it would be reflected back on the case instance. So clipboard is one very good debugging tool that we would be using.
Yeah. Is that the only debugging tool? Like that's the main debugging tool for a developer?
That's the main one, but we have others also. Like we have something called as tracer, then you have live data, live UI. So all of these are also there.
Okay. Those are and all once it goes live, I think, more helpful.
Right. For the App Studio, if you see, for BA, you only have a limited set of features. You don't have access to the clipboard. I mean, the clipboard you will have, but tracer and other tools you don't have.
Yeah, that's for the detail later, I think. And I think you may not be owning the tracer unless you have to debug something, I think, isn't it?
Correct.
It's like any other application which takes too much of memory or something like that.
Correct. Exactly.
Because I think clipboard erases itself, isn't it? It's a recycling, like a clipboard, like a normal
It purges
clipboard.
itself after a bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah, but tracer and all, I think it might be just adding to the memory, isn't it?
So they're more like dynamic things. They
Even
don't store
tracer.
it in memory, but tracer you on it when you want to debug something and you can switch it off.
Switch it off. So yeah, because it will take a lot of space.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tracer until you give a command might be to erase it. It may not erase itself, isn't it?
Correct. That's true. You will play, pause, and stop the tracer.
It's just to analyze a problem or something, if anything is running slow or if you come across any problem.
Correct. So it's more like a dynamic debugging tool. So you will see which which rule.
Okay, you meant dynamic in the sense like you whenever you want you will on it and whenever you don't want you just off it.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking dynamic in the sense you meant like clipboard it can be erased by itself, but not.
No. So tracer would be. I mean, I have a tracer throughout my application, but I will switch it on.
Switch it on.
When I want to debug it.
It's the efficient way to do it.
Correct. So it is everything, every rule form or every property that we create. So everything will be traced. We also have a lot of settings on it.
Yeah.
Depending upon what you wanted to trace and whose you wanted to trace, you can check those options also.
Yeah.